BIP of Bizarre Interest Productions, and let's talk about Beyblade and clout chasing. Clout chaser is a critical term for a person who is thought to be intent on attaining fame, especially one who tries to do so in ways considered desperate. Though in general it's seen on YouTube as people willing to stoop to the bottom of the barrel or take advantage of something popular for views and revenue. So why am I talking about this now? Well, back in April and May, I got some comments from the same person on is my Beyblade training that serious and lazy, should Beyblade be fantasy or realistic ramble. For the first one, that person said this. So regarding this video, I would say this. Pick up a real Bey and get down to tournaments to see how quick your blank would get kicked. Besides, maybe you should switch to IRL competitive content and see how that works. Now, I wasn't responding that much to comments back then because work in April and May with allergies was kind of chaotic and it seemed too passive aggressive, but I explained why I don't do so. I talk about the anime more because I don't have the means to go to the tournament. I forgot the S in tournaments. And the response was, well, then how about you start your own scene? Seriously, X bays are cheap to get, and the Extreme Battle Set Bay Stadium is viable for competitive. Saying you don't have the means to go is not really a great excuse when you can easily start your own. Reach out to people online within your area. You'd be surprised how many people want to see this. And I explained why I don't. I don't have the means or time to do so. My schedule's busy, nor do I want to. My budget isn't high enough for that competitively. I'm not an expert in competitive Beyblade. I don't live at a place where I can access Beyblades like that. My community is smaller and more rural. Really, it's more suburban, not much of a city. And I'm not going to bother my neighbors or their kids for that. With all due respect, if you can't respect my situation prevents me from doing that, and I'm showing my love for Beyblade that was supposed to say way I feel best to. Exploring it through the media they provided, analyzing it there, I suggest you not tell me what to do. Now, if this was too out of line, let me know, because I think I did a good job of breaking down why I don't without necessarily going into details. Again, I keep my identity anonymous on this platform for a variety of reasons, and given how much harassment, doxing, and what people are willing to do when they know your true identity online, I'd rather not risk that. Then, around the time, I also checked and they left a response on my lazy should Beyblade be fantasy or realistic ramble. In their defense, though, that video wasn't scripted, and for now on, I'm going to try to draft out my unscripted video so that my points are more valid and understandable. But they said, honestly, maybe it should be best that the anime just stops so Takara Tomy could focus on the IRL competitive scene. It's at its best now and the real-life battles are becoming even more enjoyable to watch in the anime. Besides, not like many people are watching it nowadays. My response is basically, that doesn't really sound like a good idea because that's just putting animators, writers, and Among Us creators out of a job. If this is constructive criticism, like I've done on this channel numerous times before, I would give it to what they can improve going forward, but I wouldn't just say they should just end the whole series altogether. The response I got to that was, doesn't sound like a good idea. That is what every single anime clout chaser says to justify their flawed, illiterate, and illogical points. I don't think they're going to improve anyways because of how they effed over the community for so long. Beyblade is succeeding even without the anime to back it up. My counter argument was, well, excuse me, first of all, how am I a clout chaser? I started talking about the Beyblade anime because I've been a fan of the series since I was young. Which is true. I actually started watching Beyblade around the time where I think V-Force was around because I was more cognitive of what I was watching. It makes no sense for any division to cancel the anime when they're being used to promote the products. That's the media being used to get it out there, and because it did well enough commercially, people around the world are able to access it. And with the anime, you wouldn't even have a Phoenix profile pic, so the logic doesn't make any sense there. They responded, well, it makes more sense to cancel the anime because nobody's watching it anymore. Trust me, I used to enjoy the anime, but I found the competitive scene nowadays to be more enjoyable. The anime isn't doing well as previous generations, but the products, that's a different story. Unfortunately, you haven't been able to cope with that. And my counter argument was pretty simple. Nobody's watching it anymore. People are going back and watching the original trilogy, the Metal Saga, the Burst Saga, and people are still keeping up with X. Heck, the views on the official Beyblade channel and the older channels that uploaded episodes with hundreds to millions of views says otherwise. If you're enjoying the competitive scene more, good, focus on them, and the channel's responsible for promoting them. Not someone who talks about the characters and stories of the anime. If the anime for X wasn't doing well, while they already have a season 2 and the manga's still going, they're adapting the story from. And if your issue is a new anime, you have other places to go to. I talk about all the Beyblade anime, so even if one got canceled, I'd still talk about the others, like I did on this video and will continue to do. So if you have a problem with that, I'm sorry you wanted to put people out of, job because you personally dislike something. But lying and saying nobody's watching it anymore is objectively not true. Maybe you're the one that needs to cope with reality. Again, a bit aggressive, but I think I made my points pretty well and I have evidence to back it up. If you disagree, let me know, but I did some digging and found out this guy isn't exactly a popular person in the Beyblade community, so I felt vindicated, but it also got me thinking. This man has a Phoenix profile picture from the anime and wants the anime. The sole thing responsible for his profile pic canceled. Man, this is why people say the Metal Saga fans are toxic. And granted, some of them are, but there's just a lot of vocal jerks who don't speak for them. The second question for me, was, am I a Beyblade Clout Chaser? Would someone see me as a Beyblade Clout Chaser? And are there people clout chasing off a Beyblade? To answer the last question, yes, I do believe there are some people taking advantage of the brand in order to boost their own views and pockets. For example, the whole Beyblade is not that serious. What is Beyblade even about? And wow, this is crazy. Who knew this was happening? And yeah, about half the people were like genuine fans who haven't watched in a while. But some of them definitely use that to build their channels and farm off the hype, spreading to metal and even burst footage for the most part. And I think that's a bit unfair when there are people who covered the Beyblade anime like Wildfang, Gabriel, and a few others that do generally talk about what they like and don't like about the anime. Plus, the big names that talk about the toys and competitive scene occasionally talk about the anime. But then the question becomes, well, am I a Beyblade Clout Chaser? Well, look, I'm far from perfect, but gonna be honest, there's not a lot of good Beyblade anime discourse and discussion views outside of like a few dozen people. And as someone as a fan of the series from a jump, I feel like I've proven I shouldn't even have that stigma in the first place. I mean, my first two videos have been about Multi being the first Beyblade female character that was treated with solid respect throughout, and the top 10 Beyblade burst battles from Season 1. And check my Beyblade playlist. I've talked about the manga for X, replacing Jinga's teammates in the World Championships, every Beyblade's protagonist source of strength, especially since I had some derogatory things inside that video, inside the comment section that started that conversation in the first place, the top 10 battles from X, every ship with possible canonicity, and I even look back to check, one for St. Valentine's, one for St. Patrick's Day, exploring how side characters have been treated in each generation, the Beyblade and Kamen Rider connection, especially since X had talked about and used the fact that 4 characters have had Kamen in their names for their aliases, the women in the Metal Saga and the Burst Saga, especially how the Burst Saga didn't treat them that well, an entire almost 20-minute video on how to improve Hikaru's character. Hell, even in that Beyblade training video that's serious, the whole thesis was that people were jumping the gun and that most of the training made sense in the context of their stories, so people shouldn't act like it's a big deal. Don't know how that compared to how people actually train in real life competitive when the rules for the Metal Saga and real life are completely different, but hey, what do I know? I'm just a Clout Chaser. Hell, I did an entire retrospective on Beyblade's Chinese and South Korean characters, exploring the history of how the Beyblade anime hasn't used customization throughout the story well until X started making it relevant, and allowing the supporting characters to get more shine alongside promoting customization more. You know, something actually relevant to the metagame even big YouTubers are talking about in the game itself. Hell, I even made poems for each character for National Poetry Month from Season 1 of X, and I talked about the actual problem with Kyoya versus Jinga instead of just yelling plot armor, which is something I will also have to get to in the future. Again, if I'm a Clout Chaser, why do I put more effort and facts into my actual Beyblade videos than some people who actually have Bey in their names of their titles, but have next to no media analysis whatsoever and just yell nerf or plot armor all the time? Again, I'm not calling anyone out, but if I decided to do Beyblade content full-time with no other shows, I would literally be at least, in terms of talking about the anime, top 5 at worst, in terms of actual content. Bet on that. Like, look at my channel. Only 2 videos I've had over 1,000 views that are Beyblade related. Like, of course, I would like more videos to reach that, but I'm happy for the progress that I've made because I actually get to talk about Beyblade instead of just listening to someone else do it for me. Hell, I even made a short calling out people that were saying that Masamune was a fraud. Sure, Wildfang beat me to it, but I'm literally one of 4 people who talked about the topic, and one of only 2 that pointed out that he's not. But excuse me for calling out bad faith criticism in discourse. I'm just a Clout Chaser. Is that what? I guess it is what it is. I can't please everyone. So, let's go with the other question that's going to be on the title of this video. So, where are all the new Beyblade videos you guys are asking about? Well, I forgot to explain that in the last video. I have some complications with the order of the videos I want released because I tried to get the Friday the 13th video out, but I had a lot of issues with the script for that video, so I had to cancel it. The Asian porn video got delayed because of that too, and my Father's Day video for Kamen Rider got delayed because I had a bunch of stuff going on, and a good quarter of my scripts got erased from my phone. Still not happy about that. And I still have like 18 non-Beyblade related videos that I need to get out of the way first. Besides, I'm still keeping up with X, and trust me, I still have a lot of thoughts about what's going on, as well as some of the discourse. And I still have other topics from the other anime I want to discuss. And I'm glad to do so because I've had comments from other Beyblade fans that have told me that they're happy that I'm covering anime and they like my videos, even comparing me to some other ones who talk about the anime too. Granted, there's one that I'm probably doing better at, but I don't have the numbers yet to reach that or make that claim. But I do like talking about Beyblade, and that's not gonna stop. So if I'm gonna be called a clout chaser for Beyblade, I'm going to enjoy talking about every aspect of Beyblade that I want to. And if more people want to come around and listen, I'm always grateful for those who do, including all of you guys. Again, 300 subscribers, and I'm pretty sure at least 20 of you guys follow me for my Beyblade takes. And I'm genuinely grateful for that. Like, seriously, you guys have no idea how it is to work on these scripts for so long, bring up all these analysis and talking points. I saw my frustration with how there's like little media literacy when it comes to Beyblade in general. And you guys actually show up, listen to me, and even when you disagree, most of you guys at least understand where I'm coming from. And that speaks a lot. Because remember, people always said if you want a voice in this world, you have to come out and say something. And if you have a voice, use it. That's what I want to do. Oh my god, I didn't even realize this video was 11 minutes long so far. I literally just started recording from what I scripted, because last time I forgot to actually include the ending for the Kamen Rider video. But yeah, I will be talking about Beyblade more in the future. Just give me some time and I'll get to them. Anyway, BIP of Bizarre Interest Productions, signing off.